Hello. This is the Marcus Allen Frishman show, and I'm not.
Well, I am Marcus Allen Frishman, and you're absolutely correct, Archie. You're not. I am. Welcome to my show, and I'm honored to be here, hosted by the YouTube influencer ArchieLuxury. What a famous man.
How are you going, my friend? We are in troubling times. We've had, holy shit, what's going on in Iran? Tell me, what can you make of this? Is it good? Is it bad? Should we be happy? Should we be sad? What do you think?
We should be very happy.
Okay.
Let me tell you a little bit about Iran. Well, we don't have to tell you how evil it is, nor do we want to repeat the story how Reza Shah invited me to join him in Iran to establish a monarchy, a democratic monarchy, as he called it. He was my fellow pinball player at the University of Southern California, and maybe he'll be the next monarch or advisor, but I don't know that he has the support there. But in the meantime, what's important to know about this attack is it wasn't limited, and it was every option is being undertaken, every single one. So the first thing on the table, the first thing they did, highly irregular, rather than go in and destroy the minimal defenses left by Iran, which could have and may have, I'm not up to speed, I've been gone most of the afternoon, may have contributed to the death of Americans and Israelis, they went to, let's say, take out, be polite, to eliminate the leadership of Iran, including the Ayatollah. Now, they did that as first strike without any attempt to neutralize the Iranian defenses. Some of that was done simultaneously, and by the upcoming days, the minimal defenses that Iran has will be destroyed. But the important point is they went in to decapitate individual leaders. They went to kill people that were running the country, and they have been very successful at doing that. They have accomplished most of the leadership is gone. Now, they have also, as I understand it, killed the backups because all the leadership had backups. They're dead, hopefully, too. I'm not sure that's confirmed yet. So the second phase of this is now to destroy any attempt they have to defend themselves in any way whatsoever, land and sea. Well, they can't really defend themselves on the land, but they have some missiles, and they can defend themselves in the sea, but all of that will be destroyed in days. And another thing that's important to note here is people have said, well, the rain of fire is going to descend upon American bases and Israel. That's not going to happen either. And the reason I'm going to tell you that's not going to happen is the total Iranian missile capacity, total, if they were to launch everything they have, which they cannot do due to the limitation of launchers, but let's just in a fantasy world say they could, that would be less than one day of the Allied forces drops in World War II. One day. I know those numbers. I'm not citing them specifically for fear of being criticized on the exact amounts here by people following us. But the point is, yeah, they don't have many missiles. And when I say many, comparatively to anything they need to do any real damage anywhere to anyone, Israel or American bases. There will be some Americans that will die. And the next stage will be to really destroy the secondary leadership. Now, I believe that the Trump administration will leave alive the largest contingents of military forces in Iran. Forgive me, I'm not a military expert, and I don't have a memory like you, Archie, but that contingency is an acronym, has a name, and there are many thousands of them. They are conscripted Iranians over the age of 18 that are required to join that force. That particular force will be, for the most part, spared. It is the largest force that they have for defensive purposes in Iran. And it is, however, it is the least budgeted for. So it's the largest, but the least budgeted. The worst, that is the largest budgeted, massive budget, is the IRGC. The IRGC are few in numbers, and they are every one of them that hasn't put down their weapon and run already and made clear they are not an IRGC member will be destroyed. So that is the secondary target, to eliminate the IRGC, all members everywhere. And right now they're going to begin destroying all of the facilities that without a facility, a soldier is useless anyway. If you don't have a tool or a building or a communications device, you can't operate. So this is a fabulous thing. And let me say another thing. The reason the negotiations failed, and as a man of peace, Donald Trump wanted to sign a deal. That would have been preferable. This was not a tactic to delay. He truly would have signed a deal. He is a deal maker. That's what he does best. But when you deal with Iran, unlike Venezuela, who are a bunch of power-hungry, money-hungry thugs of different political persuasion, you can pay them off, you can bribe them, and you can get them to do everything you want them to do. Venezuela is currently under the control of a White House working group. The president of Venezuela and the teams there that are under the president are doing everything Donald Trump says directly from the White House team on a daily management basis. We control Venezuela. You can't, and that's why he didn't reward the leadership of Venezuela to the rightful election winner, the nice lady who gave Donald Trump the Nobel Peace Prize when he didn't earn it.
He took it. She gave it to him. He took it.
He took it as a gift. It's in the White House. He can't keep it personally. It's a presidential gift that will have to be in the archives at some point. But the point is, she presented it to him, and they have a love fest. But she is not going to be installed in Venezuela. That would disrupt things. That looks like regime change, general policy against that in America. And besides, the communists are doing what we tell them. It's fabulous. Couldn't be better. And we have already accomplished so much. But I don't want to get off that subject. The point I was trying to make is, in Iran, you're not dealing with politics, socialists, communists, people of different philosophies who want money and power. You're dealing with ideology. You're dealing with religion. And you're dealing with people who want Christians, Jews, and almost every Muslim in the world dead. Dead. There are only 300 million Muslims that are worthy of staying alive, according to the mullah, and this is a CIA.
What is the religion of Iran? What is that religion they follow?
They're Sunni and well, they're
I thought they were Muslim, weren't they?
They're Muslim. Well, there's multiple Muslim sects, but what I'm trying to convey to you is. You got me off track here. The Muslim religion is essentially governed by evil. And according to the CIA report that I read in 2017, there were 1.3 or 1.4 billion Muslims. About 300 million of them, including the leadership of Iran, they want all Christians dead, all Jews dead, and they want all Muslims dead, because Muslims are not following the evil tenets of the religion. So, but about 300 million Muslims around the world support this evil, support death to America, as they say it, death to the little Satan Israel. The truth is, there is two kinds of people in the world, good and bad. And today we are killing the bad guys. And that's not opinion, that's empirical fact. It ain't an objective.
Is this going to turn into another Iraq?
No, but we will be there for weeks and weeks. We will get this job done. Over the years, since almost 50 years now, what is the exact year, Archie? 47 years, whatever it is. America and Israel have had covert operations and some non-covert operation to change this regime. It's funny how people that don't understand politics are saying, oh my goodness, he's doing regime change. Well, America has done regime change for decades. It's only recent that we have a tacit belief we shouldn't do that. It's not even a policy or a law, but we must change regimes that are pure evil. My personal belief is that the Iranian leadership, the Ayatollah, is an angel of the devil. I'm a religious man, and I believe they are pure evil. This is not a political battle. This is not anything to do with political differences like Venezuela. That's about politics. That's about money. That's about power. And it never was about oil, and it should have been, but Donald Trump made sure it was, as it should have been. Iraq should have been about oil, but it never was, sadly. But the point is, Iran and the people of Iran are great. The great people of Iran, this country has been around, what is it, 1,000 years? I'm not a historian, but it's a lot. It's a long time, way longer than these crazies who came in after kidnapping American embassy employees 47 years ago, kept them hostage for over 400 days, and the previous president was in fact one of the hostage takers. And the president in Iran has almost no authority. He's just an errand boy. He does what he's told. The current president is actually quite moderate compared to the significant crazy leaders. But the point is, we are doing the greatest thing. 180 plus countries today have overtly come out in support of killing the Ayatollah. 180. Now, that's the ones that have announced it. And you know politics, geopolitics, it's very unusual. Most won't announce it, but will whisper, hey, great job, Donald Trump. You've helped us. That amount is unknown, but it's an add-on to the 180 countries. And then there's the few that don't support this publicly, a couple of which do support it privately. So it's overwhelming support in the world for this. You won't hear this from the UN. That's another path to explain, well, why is that? But this is a fabulous day for America, but it's in many ways immediately more fabulous for the people of Iran. And I have prayed for them last night because Americans love Iranians. We love the people of Iran. And I'm sure many in power in Iran were there to pick up a paycheck and go home to their families. And remember, Israel has boots on the ground. I'm going to end with this rampage of excitement. Israel has it's estimated in intelligence sources that are, it's classified, but certainly estimated, these things leak out, about 10,000 boots on the ground. And who are they? Almost all of them are Iranian, and they are paid. And they are, the bad guys call them sleeper cells, but they have 10,000 trained men and women in Iran, mostly men, who will work for Israel and have for more than 2 decades. America has boots on the ground, but not in that capacity. We have a few of those in that category. We have actually military men with uniforms that aren't wearing them on the ground and have for a decade that I'm aware of. So that's classified, but known. You cannot do an operation like this without significant soldiers with guns killing people on the ground. Also, understand the realm of killing. Obama administration chose to do killing of this type with drones. In the last year, he did 1,011 killings with a drone. Drones cost between 1 and 3 million, and he targets 1 or 2 or 3 people and kills them by drone. Donald Trump actually has only allocated, the numbers are changing each year, but around 400 and 500 drones a year. We're killing half the people per year by drone than Obama did. So because Donald Trump is the president of peace. And you create...
They never admit this, but do they?
What?
They don't admit this, do they?
No. Well, there's a public record on the drone attacks, but you can't certainly know, unless they announce it, and they do from time to time, like Soleimani. When I say from time to time, you'll hear 2 or 3 announcements a year on key targets, but they're killed every day. Let me be clearer. Let me be even clearer to all of your viewers. Every Tuesday, well, it was Tuesday in the Biden administration. I haven't kept up with it I don't know what day it falls on, but every Tuesday in the Obama administration, the leadership team would meet in the White House Situation Room and draw the kill list for that week. They had weekly kill lists, and that's how every president does it. Maybe Donald Trump does it in his bedroom alone. But let's discuss what has been well established of record. In the Biden administration, every day
I'm just going to
there was
grab the super chat. Chief Tit, $3. Let's set up a syndicate, buy waterfront land in Iran.
Well, he's got a point there, and I have a feeling the people of Iran will soon be free and rich. Well, they're going to be free pretty quickly, and they're going to be rich over time. And the Western Alliance will come along and help them because they need help. The sanctions will immediately be taken off when leadership is properly established. And that's I've done a rant, but I wanted to conclude with this Tuesday meeting. So in the Biden administration, Democratic administration, every Tuesday they met and created a kill list, and they killed the bad guys in different ways. Sometimes it was a drone. Sometimes it is just a forces on the ground. Sometimes it's moles assassinating. CIA does some assassinations. Sometimes it's some other intelligence group we are facilitating to assassin because we don't go into certain countries. There's some places we just can't, we don't have, let's just say, just don't go into. I'll leave it at that. But I presume this administration has the same meeting, and maybe they do it on Friday before he goes to play some golf in Florida. And that's how the world turns. And America is essentially and always has been the police force of the world. But this is different. This is different. This is about protecting the world from absolute evil who would have launched a nuclear weapon against America and Israel and anyone else they didn't like. And the last bit of good news that I heard today, because as I say, I'm not up on the latest. I was up all night and watched in the morning. Then I had to leave. Is that Saudi Arabia, in its limited way that it can, is actively participating in killing and bombing in Iran right now with their jets that we have sold them. So they are actively participating in the war. It is now 3 countries that's in the air, doing what they need to do to get rid of the bad guys. And God bless Saudi Arabia, who's somewhat chicken shit to wait for it to work out before they'll do it. But they've always supported it. They've always supported America, and they've always hated Iran.
Yes, yes.
As do most of the Arab countries surrounding in the Middle East. It's a pariah. It's a pariah state.
Yes. Tell me this. It's why couldn't they do this with Ukraine?
Well, that may be out of my specialty a little bit. You're saying we? You mean the United States?
Exactly. Because I mean, you can't have a country invade a sovereign country, can you? You can't have one country just.
That's a different matter, and frankly,
they're dangerous. They got big weapons. They're dangerous. They're dangerous.
Without insulting the people of, well, this is risky to talk about. Without insulting the people of Ukraine,
yes,
it is not. It's not our problem. Yet we will, like good soldiers.
Why do you think that can't be fixed so quickly? Trump said he'd have it solved within a couple of days.
Yeah, I don't know. This is a bit beyond my. I know a few things. I know that Russia should not be an enemy and can be an ally. I know that Russia has more to offer us than Ukraine could ever offer us. We have a duty to protect the innocent and a duty to protect the Ukrainian people from this terrible thing that Russia has done. But Russia ain't Iran, and Ukraine ain't Iran. And this is not about evil.
No.
And people are going to say, well, isn't Putin evil? Well, individuals might be evil. Individuals might be bad, but this is different. Besides, we can deal with evil. Look at Gaddafi. Now, Obama made the mistake of strategically not protecting Gaddafi. We also made the mistake under Obama of not going in and protecting the president of Egypt, Mubarak.
Mm-hmm.
And they were serving our interests. They did everything we said. They were good guys to America, not so much to their country. But that's not our concern either. We only care about what's in our interests. And when we killed Gaddafi's baby, Ronald Reagan did that in a bomb of his home. Gaddafi abandoned his nuclear weapons. He invited Americans to come in and dismantle it. We dismantled it. That's how you do a dismantling. You bring American corporations and American soldiers in, and we will dismantle it. That's what Donald Trump was proposing. None of this UN crap. Donald Trump said to the Iranians, American soldiers will go in and destroy with your tourist guides your facilities, and you will either agree to it or not. And that was it, and they didn't. We're not going to allow. So even if they agreed to abandon their nuclear sites in every aspect and component we wanted, they would never agree to allowing us to be the one to do it. So yeah, like Gaddafi did. And when Gaddafi came into line very quickly, he realized he could get support from America because he was not a crazy ideologue. He was a man that wanted power, money, and he was some sort of mentally ill narcissist. But we helped him. He helped us. He turned over more terrorists until Obama did him in, didn't protect him, than anyone ever in the world. So he was our guy after he became our guy, And so we have a history of supporting dictators that might not be so good for their people, but are good for the Western world.
Yes.
Jimmy Carter brought in a policy in our country called human rights, and if you didn't treat your own citizens right, we would not be your ally. That was his policy, and that was followed by many Republican and Democrat administrations at some level until Trump. When Trump got elected, he made various speeches. We don't care about your domestic evils unless
the Ayatollah himself would say he is now with the room with 100 virgins.
Well, this bunch views death, as I've researched it, in a different way than they do value. I know this sounds so strange to us in the West, but I'm going to say it like they would.
Will he become a martyr? Will he become a martyr for this? The Ayatollah will become a martyr.
There's always some percentage of nutters, but he is. Their philosophy, Archie, is this death. Death is not the negative that we view it, and I don't know why Western cultures view death so negatively, because
it's fucking over. It's over.
Okay, I'm okay with that because I believe there's a God. I believe I'm gonna see all my dead friends, family, and dogs and cats. I'm ready. I'm ready to go. I don't know. All my friends and people I know over the years are so fearful of death.
Yes, that lady who was your good friend, she's there. She's gone.
Yeah, right.
That lady who looked after you all the time?
Yeah. Mrs. Kelly, she's gone. There's a lot of
she'd be keen to see you again.
Heaven's going to be a wonderful place. Now, Archie, when you have a son and a family, I understand that's different. I mean, there are so many things that are different when you have a family. I don't have a family. Not yet. I can turn my phone off at night. I understand there's a component of people that have a family that I don't relate to where they have to watch their phone. Do you know that I keep my ringer off 24 hours a day? I have a philosophy for at least 15 years. If I wanted to call you, I would have. So I return calls. I return texts. I get messages 7 to 9 days after they're left. I get text messages instantly. The point is, I have no one that I need to keep me up at night wondering if they've had a car accident. And if they did, I'll see it in the morning. And that includes some of my, obviously people that are in my life. But that's how I roll.
Yes, I see what you mean there. I've got to ask you something. What's going to happen now? Does the US roll in? What's going to happen? Is Israel roll in? What's going to happen next week? How are they going to play this out? So they've bombed the main targets. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, great.
Well,
what are they going to do? Are they going to send aides in? What are they going to do now?
They're killing the leadership first without dismantling fully the defense ability. We are surprised that the Iranians' reaction is so weak, but that's just the way it is. They have to keep moving these mobile launchers.
I believe they've fired a shots over at Dubai. A resort was attacked.
Yeah, but the numbers are, everything in war is about numbers and volume, and they're incapacitated. My dog is doing something wrong here. Hold on, Bueller. What are you doing?
No, that's okay.
What are you doing, Bueller? What are you doing? Archie, can you hold on 1 second, please?
Sure, of course. This is the ArchieLuxury channel.
I got a new toy, and he's trying to take it apart. Come on, stop. Jesus. Ah, God almighty. Bueller has turned into a destructor of toys. I have to hide them sometimes.
Yes.
He just becomes so focused. Anyway, waterfront land. We have to. I'm looking at the tip there for $2.99.
We will start a consortium. Please email us, and we'll get it. We'll get a consortium.
Iran's already a beautiful place. It's Gaza that could be one of the most beautiful places.
When was Iran very, very? What was the best age for Iran? When was that? With the Shah? What do you think?
Clearly with the Shah, and
they had some freedoms. Iran had some freedoms in the 70s, didn't they?
No, more than some freedoms. Shah brought Western culture back, and of course, in Iran, a woman is considered property, chattel.
Yeah.
You don't have to. Just terrible stuff. Is the Shah did not support free elections. All right, the Shah did not want political dissent, and with that one exception. That upset a few people. There's always those, He was a great man, and as I told you, I went to school with his son without knowing he was the Shah's son until one day he was honored in LA County, where by the mayor and the county and the city combined, where he came out to greet me and skipped all the dignitaries because he recognized me, I recognized him, and he revealed himself to be the Shah son. Very funny story. But anyway, I hope the Iranian people will put together their country in a way that is wise. And let me tell you something. Democracy doesn't. One of the problems with Iraq was we forced democracy on them, and that was a big mistake. We should have allowed them to develop their own independent government the way they wanted, because democracy can't be forced upon people. That's why Donald Trump is not forcing democracy in Venezuela. He doesn't have to. We don't need to force democracy. See, that's where that Carter doctrine comes in. We care about human rights. We care about how you manage your domestic relationship with your people. Donald Trump doesn't care how you manage your domestic relationship with your people, as long as it serves the interest of the United States and you're not lunatics like Iran. Go ahead and be a socialist, be a communist, ruin your country, but make sure to sell us the oil. Do what we tell you, because we're a big, powerful bully, and that's the way we are.
Let me ask you something. What fallout will happen from this here? Will there be any nasty repercussions in America?
Repercussions will be non-existent. I mean, have no impact, but they will exist. And I'll tell you where they will emanate from. This is very strange. The second part. The first part is not so strange. It will emanate firstly from the United Nations. That organization, I guess Donald Trump has to pick his fights, but we should probably toss it out and let the Switzerland fund it, or just let it disintegrate. That's why Donald Trump is forming a new worldwide alliance, which I don't want to head down the path here now because I don't know enough about it. But that will be where we will emanate the negative fallout. The second location of the negative fallout, who are on the opposite side of over 180 countries who support actively killing the leadership of Iran today. Who is on the opposite side? Democrats. Hello, all of them in Congress and the Senate, but one. All of them. And in the old days, I say the old days because I reminisced my activity in politics when liberals were respected. We called them the loyal opposition, and they were Democrats. This was obviously during Bill Clinton time, during Bush time, and Bill Clinton was a good president, and we Republicans loved him as a policy maker, I should say. We have to always go after Democrats, and Democrats have to go after us. But we made more deals with Bill Clinton, and he passed more good laws than some Republican presidents in the past. But the point is, Democrats now in the House of Representatives, as an example, are anti-American. They are so, I don't know what Donald Trump called the word the other night when he did his State of the Union. He looked at them on that side of the room. They're separated. One side Democrats, one side Republicans. And he looked at them and he called them crazy. I don't know if they're literally crazy. You know, we use that term figuratively, but they are crazy. He asked them in the State of the Union, he essentially said, Democrats, will you please stand to show your support that American citizens deserve priority and preference and protections and attention over illegal immigrants who have entered our country illegally? One Democrat stood up in support of the average American citizen.
I see.
Democrats have lost absolute touch with any reality. They will be the ones against this, and their only thunder has no real basis. It's called the War Powers Authorization Act that they would like to pass. That would prevent a president from going to war without congressional authority. You don't need to have congressional authority for any war. You do have the reality of having to have congressional allocations of budgets, but there's a way around that. In other words, money. So yeah, it's just a platform legislation to be able to complain without any real basis other than the Democrats side with evil. Imagine me saying this. You couldn't say this in the 80s and 90s. You couldn't say Democrats side with evil. In fact, Democrats have traditionally supported every war that every Republican president has engaged in, and vice versa. It has always been, foreign policy has always been universally supported by the Republican and Democratic Party, with very few on either side disagreeing with even minor subcomponents of it. That has long since changed, since the Democratic Party has left the American Party. They are no longer part of America. There is another reason why they get a lot of support, right? They get a lot of votes, millions of people, and there's a reason that they get the votes without those people fully understanding what they're voting for. But that's a complex explanation. So unlike Republicans who get votes from people who are supporting the policies, Democrats don't actually get votes from citizens who support their policies. it would take an hour and a half to explain, well, how's that? Why is that? But it is, and it ain't my opinion. It's empirical fact. It's proven by so many components of social economic policies, just too hard to explain. I'm not qualified, frankly, to explain, but I'm giving you the conclusion. Archie, I want to. Can I read a comment that's not had the privilege?
What do you think of the cartoon, the picture here?
Oh,
I need you to show Iran how to surrender. Very, yes.
Oh yeah.
Talk to us. Yes. Which comment did you like there?
It's just off the wall, but I would like to go to it. So there's a gentleman here. We call him a gentleman because we're respectful for people that disagree with us. We're respectful. We even want, hate in America. Hate is legal, hate speech, and not in all countries. But certainly disagreement is not hate. But nonetheless, whether it's hate or disagreement, we allow it. Here's a guy. It says, I won't say his handle. He says, oh, look at the sex tourists. That's plural. You and I, Archie, are still talking to each other. Now, I guess he's missed the point that I've been abstinent since 1991 or so. I guess he missed that. We've talked about it. And we also know that Archie is a man that supports relationships and love. This man, it doesn't, it's so stereotypic. There is a sex tourist industry in Asia, and it's terrible. It's terrible. It takes advantage of very poor, and he's obviously not listened to my advice that I've given with 800 likes on a page once, that you should never engage in casual sex with anyone, ever. You should never win a woman over with money or gifts, ever, whether it's in a foreign country or domestically. That you should develop a love, but you have no time to dissect that. But that's how off people are. They just make stuff up. It's a phenomenon. They'll make it up when you never said it, you never thought it, and it just comes out of nowhere.
Exactly right there. It's I've got to tell you. I've got to tell you there, Mr. Marcus, it's very concerning when you wake up and you hear the announcements. Can you see why people would be scared?
Well, I can see why Iranians are scared. Some of them are going to be injured or hurt in this attack, probably. That's terrible. I don't, I hate to dismiss it with a casual phrase that's life. Would I say the same thing if we were being bombarded here near my residence by some evil tyrant trying to take over the People's Republic of Los Angeles? I suppose I would deep down know it, know that it was, know that it was a possibility, but you have to go with the right side, and the right side is sometimes taking out evil.
Yes. Yes. It's very, very sad. What is
Archie, they were killing. The estimate is they've killed 30,000 protesters. Just shot them dead, brought in some to torture, and then killed them. Just average Iranians that feel they don't agree with their government.
Oh, it's atrocious. It's
and Donald Trump told them, go to the streets and do this. We're coming to the rescue. And boy, that took a long time.
Yes. Yes. It is. Look, I've got to be totally honest with you there. It is really, really scary when things like this happen in the world. I mean, you do understand this. It's never a good situation. However, let's be totally honest there. The Ayatollah, he was an evil cunt of a man. He was an evil cunt, a very evil cunt. And they were particularly hard on women, very, very nasty towards women, very, very nasty critters. And
Well, they committed. And
what do
I
you think the fallout for Israel is going to be long term?
Well, I don't think there will be. Look, the Middle Eastern countries are in support of Israel. The alliances are, the David Accords have expanded the alliances with Israel through the Arab states. Everyone's tired of war, and the instigators has been Iran. Turkey, the Turkey president, he's an ally allegedly and part of NATO. He's a big problem, but this will neutralize his negative component. He'll be neutralized. So once he's neutralized, who exactly is Israel's enemy? It doesn't. Who is that? Egypt? No, they love Israel. Go through the list. There is no more Israel enemies. There are individuals that are anti-Semitic. But just because you're anti-Semitic as a world leader or participant in world activities or political affairs does not mean you don't make a deal or work on a business level with people that you don't like. So I don't think there's any trouble at all for them. Again, the biggest trouble we have is in the end nothing. It's the UN, which should be abolished and kicked out of the United States. And
why does America keep paying to be in the UN? Why don't they just?
It's been readjusted a little. We're getting the other countries to pay some of our share now. You know, Donald Trump makes everybody pay their bills, like he did our allies, who are hardly, we call them allies. We're having more luck with our enemies. Let me repeat that so people don't think it's an idle, tongue-in-cheek comment. Donald Trump has had more success with our enemies than our allies. And the only way we have been able to have success with our allies is threatening significant sanctions to remove them out of the SWIFT money transfer community. We threatened France. We threatened Germany. We told Germany if they didn't stop buying Russian, the big fake, Donald Trump's on Russia's favor. The list is so long of the anti-Russian moves of Donald Trump that I can't even compare them to any president. They're too long. He went to Germany. He said, if you don't stop buying every bit of their oil or gas rather, from Russia, you're no longer going to be able to transfer any money. We control the SWIFT system, the International Monetary Fund, single-handedly, alone in the room. Despite its appearances, we control it, and we will shut you down. Your economy will collapse within a week. Absolutely threat. And he was going to do it. And that is the threat. And they did. They canceled that contract. And, you know, he has that threat outstanding with our allies on sanctions against Iran, because it's the one sanction that Joe Biden didn't add. In fact, he took it off.
What is Russia's go on this? What's happened in Iran there? What's Russia's take on it? They will sort of say, well, we leave, we don't get involved in it, so you stay out of our mess.
I'm not an expert on Russia, but Russia could care less. Although they were allies and Russia is losing friends all over the world. But I think the long-term plan with Russia is very similar to the long-term plan of China. They want.
Russia has come out and said, Russia condemns US-Israel strikes on Iran as unplanned and unprovoked act of armed aggression.
All right, fair enough. They have a right to do that. But here's the thing. The economic alliances that we can have and do have with Russia and China are overwhelming. It overwhelms all sorts of politics. And it is so important to all of us that time is going to restructure that, because Russia should be an American ally. China is China has never declared, well, I say never. What was it? The Mongols or something? Thousands of years ago.
Iran is a UN member state. Don't forget that.
And yeah, well, now they'll be respected, aligned with the U.S. as they should. Mm-hmm. The world is changing, and it's so wonderful. This is just a wonderful.
Do you think this is a good day? We should be celebrating this, or how should we be?
It's hard to celebrate death while it's happening, but in the long run, not even the long run, in the short run, after this ends, we will all be better off. And I'm telling you, the biggest winners are Israel and the Iranian people. And the second lineup would be Saudi Arabia. They wanted this to happen. They're tired of being harassed and threatened, and their oil fields that they can't defend being blown up by Iran. And that was the target. I don't see that they blew up any oil fields. So, so we're in good shape. We've spent way too much talking.
What does Palestine think of this?
There's no such place as Palestine.
Okay.
There are people that identify as Palestinians. And these people that identify as Palestinians that's being worked out. They're going to be as long as Hamas leaves them alone, they will be independent and they will have a place and they will be fully funded by Western European governments who will rebuild them. We will have to rebuild them, and the Arab countries are going to have to help. Yeah, that's a pathetic situation. But again, they have inbred philosophy to hate Christians, Israelis, and Muslims that don't agree with them. So these Palestinians that lived in Gaza, that allowed themselves to be controlled by Hamas, are not innocent, good people. But they will be taken care of as long as they don't take up arms and stay peaceful. These are not like the Iranian people.
It's I must say, I never like war because the situation in Ukraine has been an absolute fucking mess for so many years. Did you realize when that war started, that was February 22, that was the month I bought my BMW.
Oh, jeez. It seems sooner than that. That's a terrible war. Look, those two guys are very stubborn. And, but again, that war is so different than this conflict of evil. There is no evil going on here. Russia has some territorial disputes that have merit, frankly. They have some merit. You write down the reasons. They have merit. I couldn't list them for you right now. I've read them, and they have merit. And then, of course, the brutalness of the attacks to justify their reasons. The Ukrainians have a lot of merit for the unnecessary, this war being unnecessary and terrible. So who knows how that's going to play out.
Yeah,
that's going to be very much ending like Vietnam. You know, Vietnam ended with a quagmire with no real winning. The purpose got distracted along the way. Thousands died. It's terrible. This is just one of those terrible wars. This in Iran is not a terrible war, and also it's not going to last long. You don't really have. It's a one-sided war with two participants on one side. Now three, I guess, because you have the Saudis participating with U.S. Not just supporting like the other 180 countries. They're actually attacking Iran and helping us today.
Yes. It's a very, very tricky situation, but I'm really it's who do you think was more keen for this, Israel or America?
Oh, Israel, of course. But we've been waiting to do this for decades. We've been doing it. As I say, there's been ongoing overt and covert.
Would this have happened with Obama at the wheel? Would this have happened with Obama at the wheel?
No, he had a moment. He had his chance. He chose to engage. Obama was an absolute traitor and a facilitator of terrorists. He gave them $1 billion in cash on two 747s. I know a company that transports cash, and they once explained to me how much space you need for cash, and they use 747s to transport cash. They do it legally, so when it comes in the United States, it's properly accounted and and transported through the process. But that's what Obama did in reverse. He gave them billions, and then got the deal itself was good, meaning if you're dealing with a honorable country who has certain standards to follow a deal, that's how you do deals. But with evil, with religious zealots, not communists or socialists, we're talking about zealots, religious people like this, not nutters, evil, devil's angels, you cannot count on them honoring the deal. Plus, he had to give them millions. By the way, the millions was their money. We froze that money. They had their argument. Well, that's our money. You froze it in the 70s, and it's been growing interest. We want it back. So he didn't grab it out of the treasury. He did it secretly. It was secret. It was covert. It was out without congressional authority or knowledge, by the way. It leaked. I mean, it's hard to release that much money and not have it leak. But, Archie, these people would, it's funny how when I get a kick out of the very small, limited, but loud American protesters on this subject. And it's funny because most of them are in the LGBT community. It's an odd phenomenon. Most of them are a lot of them, but not most, a lot are Jewish. Jewish Americans are not known to be the greatest supporters of Israel. It's another phenomenon here that I don't quite understand. The point of that is these people would be stoned and thrown off a building in Iran. Jewish people can't go to Iran. Well, Jewish people can, but they'll be kidnapped or held hostage likely, but Israelis can't go. And people don't understand the difference between an Israeli and a Jewish person. A Jewish American is not Israeli. There's many things I disagree with Israel on. I'm not a Zionist. I'm Jewish. And I remind my Christian brothers, Jesus was also Jewish. God bless God and Jesus Christ.
It's I've got to be totally honest with you, Marcus. It's very, very upsetting when this stuff happens, but hopefully everything will settle down. Marcus, Russia's come out and slammed it. Russia's come out. But I suppose, when do you think the war in Ukraine is going to end, Marcus?
I really don't know enough about the war in Ukraine, Archie. I'm more of a specialist in the Middle East. And I'm not even an Asia specialist, even though I've lived there 4 months a year and was the ambassador to the Philippines for 5 of those years from the People's Republic of California before it went bad. But no, I just can't really give you in depth on that. It's a different kind of war. I will tell you that much. And it's just terrible, the death. And I don't see an end to it.
Yes. The world is going to be a better place without that regime. Is there going to be splinters that can come out that are going to be evil? Sometimes you cut the head off the snake and there's something more evil lurking below the surface. Could that be possible?
Maybe, but this is not Cuba. When we've tried to cut the head off of the snake in Cuba, and we failed many times, and we then eventually gave up. And then it's the snake died.
Well, I mean, communism kills itself because it's evil. It just kills the country, doesn't it? Communism.
Well, yes, but you can see what's happening in Venezuela. As I said, Venezuela communist leadership reports to the Donald Trump Venezuela working group in the White House every day. We control all decisions in Venezuela of any significance. They will do nothing, and by voluntary compliance, I might add. or a lot of other things would have happened. We would have taken out the military leader who has a $25 million bounty on his head. So he's cooperative because we're not taking him out, although I suppose someone could grab him and grab that bounty. And then we are supporting the current president, who is a vice president, who was filled the presidential position. But these communists, they want power and money. And you just accommodate.
Who doesn't want power and money? That's two good things.
I'll tell you, the Ayatollah. He is a religious. The whole country in Iran is run by religious fanatics. This is all about religion, not politics, and that's why negotiating with them is no good. That's why signing agreements with them would never really work unless we controlled those agreements. So, as example, Donald Trump would have signed an agreement, would prefer to have done that because he is the peace president, and you do agreements. But the agreement would have required that American troops and experts, that means the CIA and its contractors, would have to go in and do the dismantling for them. Amongst all the other components of it, we would have to control it, not them. When you make a deal like this with Russia, you let Russia do it themselves and verify it with international inspectors. And that's how you deal with people that could be remotely verified and their word can be trusted, because you're dealing with politics. But Iran, you can't deal with them politically. You have to deal with them through force and death. And today is the day of their reckoning.
Yes.
The people of Iran will be free and rich. The estimates are that it's approaching 90% support from the Iranian people on this. And as I said, over 180 countries have publicly announced their support. There are numerous other countries that have whispered their support. And then there's the ones that have spoken against it, like you mentioned, and secretly whispered to Donald Trump, good job. And then there are the very few that from beginning to end didn't want this to happen. But I will tell you, the Chinese were mixed. Even though the Chinese have announced this war equivalent to opposition equivalent to Russia, the Chinese would have been subject to a potential problem obtaining oil. Now they're going to have to. Now they're going to get oil. We're going to make sure the Chinese get the oil, but they're going to have to pay market price. Maybe there'll be a discount for you're not causing too much trouble during this. They could have caused some trouble and they didn't in the end. So they'll be rewarded. The Chinese will be rewarded by Donald Trump in some component for their lack of messing this up. Because the Iranians were going to cut off the Chinese oil by virtue of punishing the United States. Now, this is complicated to explain, but that would be the end result. And that didn't happen. And then the Chinese didn't have to do something to prevent that from happening. And the reason is the Chinese knew that their days were numbered and they were out. Everybody knew that. Russia knows that they had to make an announcement on the losing side.
100% right there. It's
Archie, we've used 1 hour up on this nonsense.
Yes.
Well, that's the way it goes.
No, I think it's a very, very, it's very interesting to see your insight on it. I'm actually proud to hear you be very positive. I wasn't quite sure, thinking, oh, fuck, what the hell's going on here? But I can sleep easier after hearing your voice on it. President Trump says the Ayatollah was one of the most evil people in history and urged Iranians to take their country back. Yes. That's a fairly.
And we're not making any attempt to install a leader. We're not pushing. In fact, to the best of my knowledge, I've been looking at this. It appears that Donald Trump has not had a formal meeting. There's been informal. And in America, that matters. There is no formal meeting with Reza Shah, the son of the Shah, who told me that he would take me with him to establish a democratic monarchy a constitutional monarchy. That's what he called it. Now he's talking publicly about just being an advisor.
Iran retaliatory strikes were earlier reported in Dubai, Doha, Bahrain, and Kuwait, places with U.S. military bases or are allied to the U.S.
The Iranian Secretary of State today may be the only one that survives this, because he's a nice guy and has got a lot of friends in D.C. And also it's rumored he's a double agent. But nonetheless...
Oh, it was the Fairmont, the Palms Hotel in Dubai. Fuck.
Really?
But I think to be honest with you,
he was calling around, the foreign minister from Iran was calling around all the countries, all the countries that, you know, are Arab countries, explaining to them why he's attacking their soil and trying to hit an American base there or whatever.
Yes.
What an embarrassing call to have to make.
Hey, sir, that's the show for today. We've got a couple super chats. Let me catch up. Chris F, $1 super sticker, and Mac Lobster, $5. Marcus, how are we to proceed with foreign policy when no other countries respect us? What do you think of Carney's speech?
Oh, you are wrong.
I'll let you respond to that.
You get respect from your allies by fear. They are in fear of Donald Trump because they have abused America. I'm speaking of our allies. They have abused America for decades, and they're done. And there's so much. Look at the list. Look it up and see how he has changed just through meetings. All the abusers, financial and other things. I won't list them here, but it's massive and it's so helpful. And with regard to our enemies, we're much better off with these enemies than some of our allies. That sounds funny, but it is the truth. I didn't see Carney's speech, the full speech. I will take a look.
Yes, maybe next time you can respond to that. Marcus, it's a pleasure having you here. Thank you for letting us know the world is a better place.
You know, can I say one last closing remark besides the fact that I'm Alan Frishman and you're not?
Sure.
Let me ask everyone that has any semblance of the Christian Judaic ethic in their head to bow their heads tonight at some time before they sleep, if not immediately, and send a prayer out for the Iranian people, first off, and the Americans and the Israelis and the Saudi Arabia soldiers that are battling for good on the side of God so that evil is destroyed. These people will be seeing the devil soon, and we need to say a prayer. I think God listens to mass prayer, maybe not so much one-on-one, unless you're my girlfriend, because my girlfriend's prayers get answered. Mine, not always. That's all I have to say.
Marcus, we'll be back next week. Thank you so much for joining us. He's Marcus Allen Frishman, and I'm not.
And you're not.
See you later.
Hi, guys. It's ArchieLuxury. Guys, I want to talk to you about David SW. David SW, David SW. Guys, if you are in America, if you are looking for a Rolex watch of your dreams, in fact, if you're looking for a contemporary modern wristwatch, I strongly advise you to look at David SW. Guys, don't play the dealer games. Don't bring in chocolates or Krispy Kremes for your dealer hoping to get a Rolex at retail. It's futile. Please, guys, save your dignity. Keep some pride. Go to David SW. I would highly recommend David SW, David SW. If you're in America and you're looking for a watch, go to David SW, David SW, David SW.